welcome everybody. Thank you for being here. We are very proud today to host this event. I should immediately say that as the coordinator and the principal investigator of the ERC project Abstraction, I did very little for the organization of this event, and I am proud of that because it means that I'm starting to learn how to delegate. Problem for me. So I did very little because, first of all, I should say that, and I'm very proud, so most of all the credits should go to the Abstraction Research Group, led by Caterina in this case. The topic of today's workshop has the title Conversational Dynamics, How Abstraction and Abstractness Have Been Flown Interaction. And this is not an event to showcase all the results of the project Abstraction achieved so far and so forth. No, it's not. So this is a focused event on a topic, which is also one focus of interest of our research group. But this event is not to showcase all our research, is to focus on the topic. And this is why we invited speakers that we believe are the most recognized speakers in the field of conversational dynamics, nationally and internationally. And how do I go with the slides? Oh, oh yeah. And I should say, yeah, just a couple of words on the Abstraction project and the Abstraction Research Group, who is hosting and organizing and sponsoring this event. And this is the, I'm lucky and I'm happy to be the leader of this group, this research group, which counts Caterina Villani, whom you already know, Tommaso Lamarra, who is doing his PhD program here with us, Giulia Rambelli, who is doing her postdoc here with us, Andrea Ravelli, who is coming from Florence, and also Adele, who is part of the group, even though she is funded by a national funding scheme. So all of them have been working hard together for organizing today's event, and they work together also scientifically speaking, for developing and implementing sub-projects within the Abstraction project. Abstraction is the umbrella, let's say, that covers all of our research interests and is the acronym of my ERC. And as you know, it means something like pulled off from. In this case, pulled off from experience. So abstractions are, abstraction is one of the fundamental mechanisms, I think is the engine that drives our thought and our actions. Most of our languages, I believe. And within abstraction, we focus on the role of language in helping us constructing these abstractions. So recently there has been a revamp, a new enthusiasm on the theme, on the big question, the big debate on whether language is for thought or for communication. There have been recent publications that discuss very lively these questions. And this is, of course, is a huge topic. Language, did language evolve for thought, or to shape and construct our thoughts, or did language evolve for communicative objectives, goals? We will not give an answer to this today, I believe, but also I believe that we should stop thinking that the answer lays in just one of these two predictors. So I believe that language evolved because of a combination of these two, variables and more. And within the abstraction project, we work we try to address this big question as well. And one of the first goals, objectives that we have is that of trying to disentangle two variables that have been often confused within the study of abstraction, especially in different scientific communities, which is the concreteness, abstractness, let's say, which is a variable that is very dear to scholars and scientists working on the embodiment, grounded cognition, cognitive linguistics. And then the other variable is what we call specificity or generality, which is basically levels of semantic categorization, and from a cognitive perspective defines how inclusive or fine-grained is a category on what type of exemplars it denotes. And there has been a lot of scientific publications that I'm not showing you right now, in which these two variables seem to be conflated and confused under the assumption that they are 100% correlated. So if something is very specific, is also very concrete. If something is very abstract, is also very general. And so we were wondering, like, is this really the case? Let's find out. Let's put it to the test. And so we started collecting ratings, metrics to measure how specific, how general a word might be. Because for concreteness, we have resources. For specificity, much less. And so we started collecting so-called specificity ratings in different ways. I'm not going to get into details on this right now, but once we have metrics to measure these lexical variables, then we already started to address some of these research questions, such as what's the relation between concreteness and specificity in language processing. So much of the so-called concreteness effect does not control for specificity. So we ran a couple of experiments, behavioral experiments to check that. And we found a specificity effect above and beyond concreteness. How do concreteness and specificity affect conversational dynamics? Something we are going to discuss today. How does language-mediated abstraction skills unfold in linguistic development? We conducted a developmental study in schools with kids to see their abilities to extend letters of words from ranging from very specific words to very general words, how this ability extends through time during the span of 9 to 13. And then we moved also on some computational studies, such as can large language models, these language technologies that are nowadays next to us all the time, can they approximate language-mediated abstraction skills as humans do? So can they generalize? Can they abstract? Do they work in the same way in these abstraction processes as humans do? And how are specificity and concreteness used in different text genres? Then when we moved on to the use of language, how are these variables playing in different texts? And how humans and language models generalize to interpret generic statements, meaning statements where it's not clear whether a word refers to a whole category or just an individual. So to know more about the abstraction research, which on all of the sub-projects, we set up an exhibition at the Department of Modern Languages, Literature and Cultures in Via Cartoleria, which is a 5 minutes walk from here. The exhibition is in Italian, but there are a lot of RQ codes that lead to our publications, which are all in English. So it's interactive, multimodal, and multilingual. There you go. Okay, without any further ado, I will now give the floor to Caterina, who will show you how today works.
Yeah, thank you, Marianna, for the kind introduction. And of course, thank you for being here. And also to give me the opportunity to organize this workshop. And my idea for today was to create a space for mutual exchange between two areas of research that in my opinion, have a lot of in common, but little intersections so far. And one is research on conceptual representation and semantics, so theory of concept and mainly cognitive linguistics and cognitive psychologists, and research on dialogue and conversation analysis. So when I first started studying psycholinguistics, I was really fascinated about how words and concept, and especially abstract concepts, shape our thinking in a very powerful way. And I learned a lot about how different type of words are processed in our brain, how we learn them, how perceptual and motor and emotional process are linked with our linguistic abilities, and how in turn language affected the way we perceive reality and how we act in the world. But I was somehow stuck to notice how little research was done about how words are actually used in real-time communication. So I turned to research on dialogue, where they offer many compelling models about how people coordinate each other, how they align during a conversation. And I thought I will find plenty of research investigating how different type of meaning affect the way we communicate. And so how the flow of conversation change depending on the type of word we are using. But to my surprise, there wasn't much attention to semantics. So this is the main reason for bringing me to organize this workshop and to invite here all experts that works somehow at the intersection between cognitive science, linguistics, semantics, social coordination, and social interaction. And I'm sure that what we are going to hear today will inspire us more thought about how these two areas of research can somehow complement each other and connect more. And I want just to show and share with you two questions that I found particularly compelling and that I invite you to bring in mind during the workshop. And one is, which conversational dynamics come into play when during a conversation we use more abstract word or concrete word, or when we are using a language that is highly specific or very generic. And the other one is, what does the semantics of a conversation tell us about the mechanism that we already know are in play when we build a common ground and how we build an interpersonal relationship. Of course, during the workshop, we will touch many other key questions on the main topic about how human and not only humans, has this flexible and collaborative ability to construct meaning together in a dialogue. So here is the program for today. I want to say just few technical and practical information. We will have 3 sessions, 2 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon, and a round table, 2 coffee breaks in a beautiful room downstairs, which has also a small private garden, and 2 hours for lunch, which is on your own. So I just ask you to be on time here for the afternoon, and we will start again at 3. We will try to keep the Q&A session a bit short, 2-3 questions per talk, because we will have a roundtable discussion at the end of the day. And for those of you who is attending online, please use the Teams chat to write your answer or maybe raise your virtual hand. All the event will be recorded, and the recording will be available, I hope, very soon, in a few days, in our official website. And for those of you who is not comfortable or, don't prefer to be recorded, just please tell us a bit in advance. And as I said, we will conclude with a round table discussion with all speakers. And to just give a bit of hype, these are the questions that we somehow prepared to kick off the discussion. One is more methodological, so about the method and challenge to use conversational data in from natural setting. The other one is more about on the impact that this type of research, so studying meaning in dialogue, can have both inside and outside academia. And the third one is, of course, on the hottest topic of our time, so talking to AI. So we will discuss whether a language model can or not can construct meaning with humans and vice versa. I want just finish to really thanks Marianna again to give me this opportunity, and all members of Abstraction Group for the moral support, technical support for organizing this. And I will give you the floor to the first chair of the session, who is Tommaso Lamarra. And I hope you will really enjoy this workshop.
The social.
Yeah.
Sorry, we're not here. We should keep in mind. In case you are interested